girls. Mean Girls Interrupted. Mean Girls Interrupted. We are girls who are mean and we're interrupted.
We're actually not mean. So if you guys want to know, this podcast is called Mean Girls Interrupted because it's a mashup between two movies, which you'll notice our titles are the same.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. So why are you here? You're here to listen to us, which are me, John.
And me, Travis.
And we're going to review a movie for you today.
We're going to ruin the movie too. But if you haven't seen this movie came out in 1988.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it by now, whatever. But
John, I've somehow managed since 1988 to never watch this and also have no clue what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, that was the same for me, but I did know throughout the years that it was has like a Christmas theme to it, and because the holidays are around the corner.
I've also heard that too, and I was like, is it a Christmas movie? The debate is out there, but John, what say you? Do you think it's a Christmas movie?
Oh, there's no debate. It's fully a Christmas movie. This is a Christmas
movie, but in the weirdest, but also like most
slightly
amazing
arbitrary
way.
Yeah,
it is arbitrary, but also what's weird is
Christmas is all over this movie.
John, they set the tone that it's Christmas, and the whole time I was watching, I was like, "There's people dying, but like, jingle all the way, bitch."
Yeah,
like I couldn't get it out of my head. I'm like.
And it's also, so what we're talking about is the movie Die Hard. If you haven't caught up yet,
if you haven't, I don't know how, John, in my entire life, we've gone 30 plus years. I'm not going to age myself. You can go back and listen to how old I am.
You know what I have seen? I saw Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I have not seen a single Die Hard movie up until I watched this.
I've seen every other Die Hard.
You have?
Except for the original Die Hard.
John, I've never seen one of them. And here's why. Because I'm a gay person and I burned through The Wizard of Oz. I have a thing. I literally burned through tapes of The Wizard of Oz, you guys. When I was a child, my grandmother, she was a great person. She bought me Wizard of Oz Barbies. I had Barbies, everyone. And I'm sure my parents hated it. But guess what? I had the Wicked Witch and I had Dorothy Gale. So come for me, whores, because I loved that movie and I was not going to be into Die Hard ever.
No.
I'm not into action. I like gay stuff.
But we were children of the mid to late 90s. We were in our childhood in the 90s.
We were 90s children.
Yeah. So which was like this renaissance of action movies that were like in the vein of Die Hard. So Die Hard comes out and is a super huge blockbuster in 1988. So of course Hollywood's going to continue that trend throughout the 90s
and throughout forever.
Yeah, like True Lies came out whenever we were kids.
Which is wild because, John, I love True Lies, but only because Jamie Lee Curtis is like a queer icon, I think.
Yeah. And like, so, and as like a little gay kid, we've talked about this before. I was in it for Jamie Lee Curtis.
Me too. I loved it.
This Die Hard doesn't really have a Jamie Lee Curtis element to it.
No, it has a Bruce Willis who, by the way, is like daddy.
That was going on. I think that was like his thing.
John,
at this
he is
point
daddy
in
this movie. And I was like, okay.
Because he's not like, yeah, sure. Like he's like an attractive human, but he's like an every person attractiveness, like Daisy Edgar Jones.
Honestly,
you have to get that every person attractiveness. And like, it's not like he's like the most buff, built, ripped thing in the world.
No, but he has a hot body. He still has a hot body. He's not like ripped. He's not like your Hollywood ripped hot body. He's like normal, like someone who's a construction worker who goes home and drinks like 8 beers before bed.
Yeah. And I think that's what was like great casting because like that was the point.
John,
you know what I mean?
Yes. And I've never, like Bruce Willis, I've never really been into a movie Bruce Willis is in except for The Sixth Sense. I don't know anything else he's been in. I could not tell you anything else he's been in.
I mean, lots of things.
I know he's been in everything, but also nothing for me.
Right. Nothing that was like in your market.
I wasn't like, oh, a new Bruce Willis movie is coming out. Let me go watch that. Do you get what I mean?
Or he pops up in things that you were already going to see anyway, like Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction.
Oh, right.
He plays the boxer in there. But anyway, so Die Hard is definitely Bruce Willis's giant blockbuster franchise.
It does belong to him.
It belongs to him.
John McClane is Bruce Willis, and Bruce Willis is John McClane.
Oh, right. And you know who else Bruce Willis is? Corbin Dallas.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, it's Fifth Element.
Oh my God, I fucking forgot. John.
Which, while I was watching this movie, I was like, there are so many nods to Die Hard in The Fifth Element with like the tank top.
John, how the hell could I forget? Okay. Reset. Because The Fifth Element is an amazing movie.
It is an amazing movie, and it's an action movie. And then whenever it really starts to
fiction action, which, dude, I'm here for that because you can.
And you have the Mia Jovovich, who is that it hooks in your queers who love movies.
Who, by the way, that's when I fell in love with her. I said, who is this orange-haired skank? I'm here for her.
Where did she arrive up to in that strappy, iconic number?
John, she's like the hottest mummy.
Yeah,
she's out here serving it, dude. She is.
I think people still do that for Halloween.
They do. Why wouldn't they? Her, Poison Ivy. I mean, they're iconic queer characters.
Yeah, and I think there's like a 10-year time difference between Die Hard and Fifth Element. So good for Bruce Willis, like maintaining that action hero thing.
Could you imagine had they done a sequel to The Fifth Element? I don't know why they never did. It could have worked so well.
I don't know. But
the campiness in that movie, that's a camp movie.
Yeah, but they can't really come back with anything from Luc Besson anymore because he is like kind of scorched earth.
Well, at the time, it wasn't the case.
Right. But anyway, so Die Hard starts out immediately with the iconic John McClane. He is in a limo with the limo driver, and he is on his way to Century City, California, and where he is gonna meet his estranged wife.
Yes.
They haven't seen each other in a while, and they've got problems. But apparently, she is a top level executive for a corporation that I still am very unclear on what they do.
I'm actually okay with not knowing what they do because it wasn't the point. I didn't care. We just knew that she was an executive and they worked.
She's serving executive realness too, by the way, with that haircut.
John,
that blazer.
I can't stop thinking about how much Aquanet was in that hair.
Was it a perm or was it lots of curlers?
John,
you tell me.
I couldn't because I also have those questions.
Yeah. And that, you know, who plays Holly Gennaro McClane?
Tell me.
Bonnie Bedelia.
What a hot name alert, you guys. Bonnie Bedelia. Bonnie. Give me a break.
Never trust a Bonnie, by the way.
Welcome to the stage. I did know a Bonnie, John, but I did trust a Bonnie, but she was also a mess.
Yeah.
John, she was a mess.
Bonnie Bedelia.
But I loved her.
Bonnie Bedelia.
Oh, are you kidding?
All the way.
Welcome to the stage.
Bedelia.
Okay, but Bonnie Bedelia, was she in anything else? Or do we care?
Die Hard 2.
Oh, good. Who did she play in Die Hard 2? Not the same character,
Bedelia.
Right?
No, she played
someone else.
A slightly younger version of Bonnie Bedelia. She played herself.
Okay, good. She
was
a cameo.
On. Yeah. But no, she definitely plays in. I want to get to the bottom of this. Okay. So she is like an 80s and 90s gal.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I do. I know exactly what you mean.
So she came up in during that time. Sorry, I'm scrolling. scrolling. She's just a working gal.
So she's been working in the 80s and 90s, and that's cool for her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So she's in Anywhere But Here.
Oh, anything but that.
She's in a very famous one called Presumed Innocent.
Nope, I never watched it.
And her character's name is Barbara Sabich.
What? Bitch, say what?
Exactly. She was in one called Fat Man and a Little Boy.
So, no.
Do you want to know what her character name was?
Please tell me.
Kitty Oppenheimer.
John.
Oh, that's a real person, by the way.
Kitty Oppenheimer. So that was based on a true story.
The Oppenheimer story. Yeah.
Oh.
She was we're in the 80s, by the way. So she was right before Die Hard. She did a little movie called The Stranger.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Okay. And you want to know what her character name was?
Please.
Alice Kildee.
Wait a minute.
The 80s was wild.
Hold up. So she had all the hottest names, though.
Yeah, like this hot, all around hot girling. She was also in In Pursuit of Treasure. The picture. She goes back into the 60s.
John, can you tell us what her most recent was, though? What was her most recent role?
Her most recent role was this year. In the Noel Diary.
No. Well,
she has been working every single year.
Good for her.
Bonnie Bedelia.
Good for her. It's BB. Listen, her name carried her, and so did that hair. She floated on. I want to
reach out to her and get her. She's like one of these actresses who has been in the Hollywood system machine forever, to the point that she has accrued quite a bit of wealth and status and respect around town. But she probably has some stories.
John, you probably run into her at the grocery store down the street.
Oh, you know who I ran into on Thanksgiving?
No, tell me.
So I went to get...
Did you go to Gelson's?
Yeah, I went to Gelson's because they have like... Every single day they roast an entire turkey.
Oh,
and
I thought you were going to say a celebrity. That like celebrity roast.
They roast
every
a
day.
celebrity. Have a celebrity roast.
When a celebrity rolls in, the person on the mic is like roasting them.
It's in like the frozen food section.
I love that. Okay, who did you run into though?
Ice cold. Anyway, so I ran into for any Game of Thrones fans out there.
Not a single person likes that show, John.
I'm just kidding. Nobody watched it.
No.
It was very short-lived. But no, it was from the original Game of Thrones cast. Which season is it? Is it season 3 or season 4? Where Cersei like, sort of becomes like the main bitch.
Oh, I can't remember.
With the whole dynamic, with the whole shame thing.
Oh, shame. Yes. Who was it?
It was that season. It was not the Grand Maester, the High Sparrow.
Are you kidding? You ran into the High Sparrow?
Not. The High Sparrow.
What was he doing? What was he buying? TV dinners.
He was at he was doing like a quick Thanksgiving thing too as well. Like which is what I was there for. I was there for like the turkey thighs that they had like laid out in like this buffet style. And like they were going fast. Like people show up for it. They have like stuffing. They got cream spinach, all the stuff. And like he was in there getting, I can't remember exactly what he was getting, but he was at that hot food station. And
I like that. Yeah.
And I clocked him immediately.
I was like
that. High Sparrow.
Did you? Were you like, I don't trust you?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you preach a lot of goodness,
but you're a terrible individual.
I think you're very, very corrupted. And and then I got out of there. But no,
I would have got right out of there too. Seeing him,
Yeah, I'm like, this place is gonna blow.
Yeah, this place.
There's dragon fire underneath
under
there.
this Gelson's dragon fire.
Yeah. No, thanks. Yesterday I was on my run and in my little Los Feliz area.
Yeah.
And I passed Al Pacino, and I swear to God, that's no lie.
I believe you, but also it's so weird.
It's very, very weird.
It's
because
so
he was just
weird
like on a
that
little exercise walk, and I was like,
what was he wearing?
Just like your traditional old. It was like kind of a Lululemon-y, like but it was like old person. He's like an elderly person
He was
now.
wearing old person stuff.
Old person stuff. It was like long sleeve, like track suit jumper thing.
Dual Velcro shoes.
You know what? The shoes had like a pop of red on there, and they were laces for sure.
Oh, damn it! He can still lace his shoes.
It looked like a rich person going on a walk garb.
I like,
you know what I mean?
Oh, I do know what you mean. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, very regular and
but like upscale regular.
Yeah, like obviously I'm a millionaire.
Like we're trying to.
I am Al Pacino.
I'm trying, but I'm also wearing my Golden Goose Deluxe.
Right. It's like, oh wow, you're a long way from that hill you live on top of.
How did you get here, sir?
Right. I'm like, do you need me to walk you home?
Honestly, you could have scored.
He was sort of getting that.
You could have scored a really nice job taking him up and down the hill.
Yeah. Anyway,
back to
I want to be
Die
Al
Hard.
Pacino's walker. Die Hard.
How did we get to Gelson's? Who cares?
Oh man, we went. Bonnie Bedelia took us in directions.
Bonnie Bedelia. So Bonnie Bedelia's in this movie. So we meet Argyle. This is where we're at. So Argyle, which by the way, also a hot name. So Bruce Willis gets off the plane and he's like, hey, I got to go to this Christmas party. And Argyle is this really cool dude. And he is the limo driver. And they are on their way to the Christmas party. And they're going to a high rise. Is that where we're at now? We're at a high rise.
We're in a fancy computerized office building, and it's very impressive.
Super impressive.
Whenever Bruce Willis like shows up to the reception and he's like, where's Bonnie Bedelia?
He really does. He said, I need BB, my BB.
He's like, where's BB? And then he's like, why don't you fucking tap this screen that's right in front of you? And then we get this really cool 1988 touch screen directory of the building.
John, every bank screen still looks like that. When you are trying to pull money out of your bank, out of the ATM, it still looks the same.
Like you still have this much cash and like this much disregard to technology.
Not stopped. It still looks that way.
So anyway, like where did the monthly service fees even go?
John, I don't know. Up their own asses, probably.
Yeah, to that crotchety old teller.
Yeah.
So, which I love in banks, by the way. There's like 1,000 teller stations and only 2 ever working there.
John, and not a single one of them knows how they got hired.
Right. They're like, I don't know.
They walked in and the person was like, we're hiring. When can you start?
I've worked here forever.
John, they don't even know when they started.
They probably just like, have I always been here?
Dude, for real. Yes. They were born in the vault. They were birthed out of the vault.
I want to be born in a vault.
Honestly, can we go back and be born in a vault? That's kind of cool, though.
That's a cool premise.
Anyway.
So he tracks her down. She's changed her name back to her maiden name, even though they're not officially divorced yet.
Yeah.
So he goes up to the Christmas party, and it's an LA Christmas party.
Someone gives him a kiss on the cheek.
Yeah, and he's like, blah, and then it's just like background actors hamming it up. And we cut into he's shown into an office where somebody's doing lines of coke.
Yes, of course. And this guy is a total Chad. And Chad is doing cocaine on Bruce Willis's estranged wife's desk. For all of you out there, right. Bedelia. So
she's a respected executive, but not that respected because she's still a woman.
Yes, you can never be respected in the 80s as a woman, even though your hair is so close to God.
Crazy. So high.
So close to God.
But anyway, so while all this is going down, he's getting reacquainted with his estranged wife. He's there to like basically be a Christmas show up dad. He has a teddy bear he needs to get to his daughter he hasn't seen in forever. But somehow he's still like Bruce Willis's character. But anyway, so he Meanwhile, there is a very ominous looking truck on the way.
And guess who's in it, John? None other than Professor Snape.
Professor Snape is in there, and he's
Wingardium Leviosaing all the way.
He is maintaining the sass, the darkness, the rudeness of Severus Snape.
He is a literal Slytherin before he knew he was.
I mean, he was born for that role.
He really was. Alan Rickman, everyone.
Rip Alan Rickman.
Rip, for real, though. He plays Hugo Boss.
He is the iconic villain, Hans Gruber.
Oh, that's it.
Because they are all German terrorists, and they lock down this skyscraper in Century City, and which is a real the Die Hard building. Every single time we pass it in Century City on the way to appointments, it's always a thing that we point at, like, oh, the Die Hard building. So I had seen the Die Hard building before I had even seen this movie.
Can I tell you, the only set I've ever been to was the exterior of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in LA, and the worst place that you and I and Redacted went to.
Yeah. But that actually has a really cool neighborhood nearby that I didn't know about until like later.
Oh, damn. Well, next time. But Die Hard.
So Die Hard. So they lock this thing down. They start taking hostages at this Christmas party. The Christmas party is now a hostage. But John McClane, he is fully like in another room, and he's like, crap, we got terrorists, and I've got a gun because I am apparently some kind of
he's a police officer, everyone.
Police officer, but he's like with an edge. He doesn't really do the law.
He doesn't do
he does justice.
He doesn't even do shoes, everyone. He is shoeless. Right. He is out here and he is ready.
He is ready. He is lurking in the vents, ready to kill some German terrorists.
Lurking and smirking.
Lurking and smirking and merkin.
And merkin, which he didn't need a merkin at this point, but he was working on it.
He was getting there.
Yeah, pube wig for everyone who doesn't know what a merkin is.
Yeah, grow up.
Yeah, grow up.
So he starts offing these terrorists, and then it's exposed that the terrorists are like, oh, there's somebody like killing us off here, and we got to take care of that.
John,
problem.
They're so mad, but they keep that Christmas theme because the first terrorist he kills, he switches his sweatsuit, he spray paints or writes, now I have a machine gun, ho, ho, ho. On it, and he sends that terrorist down, and he lets them all know, guess what, the first one's dead, come and find me.
Yeah, because his wife, estranged wife, is at stake.
She's a hostage in this, and John McClane, aka Roy for all of you out there. Also, I love Al. Al is a police officer. Watch the movie, you guys. If you haven't, you'll get it.
Good old Al. You know, he was from the hit. I loved Family Matters.
Family Matters was the best.
Yeah, so he's the dad in Family Matters, and he has like kind of the most compelling character arc in this whole movie.
Also, yes, John, we'll get to it. Can I tell you, as someone who's never watched this just like you, that was an amazing ending.
That was a great ending, because it's like, who's the real hero, right? Here?
Let me tell you.
Because so as John McClane goes through his journey of like trying to kill terrorists and having some major setbacks along the way.
Oh, just so many.
He's a shot. They shoot out all this glass.
They shoot so
knowing
much.
That he has to walk on it to get away. And he does.
John, he doesn't care. He said, you want to know what? Footprints in the sand. He said, God was there to carry me. That's how.
Oh. Where did that come
from? Because of footprints in the glass.
Oh.
So there we are.
Yeah. I love it. Did you read that on a framed poster?
Yep, in a doctor's office. I was just lurking around.
They brought God into the doctor's office? That's science.
Yeah, I know.
Weird. Did you like not trust your doctor after that?
Oh, John, never.
No.
So anyway, I just wanted you all to know.
The doctor just comes in and he's like, you know what? I have a prescription for you.
He said footprints in the sand, and he pointed up there.
He's like, read that right there. That's your prescription. It's going to get you better.
Yep. And then he handed me a bag full of Tic Tacs, and I was like, this will work.
You know, if you pray over each Tic Tac before you take it, it's going to cure that cancer.
Yep.
Yep.
That's how it worked. So John
that'll
McClane,
be $2,000.
Yep. So John McClane and his tic-tac-toes walked across.
Good one.
Walked across that glass.
The talent.
God, there was so much, you guys. It was so crazy.
I love us today.
Me too, actually. We're really here for it.
Yeah. Christmas action movie, Die Hard.
Christmas action movie, Die Hard, John McClane / Roy. Oh, but we were talking about Al. Al has a very good part at the end of this, but it's hard to really synopsize this because it's an action movie with a lot of people who die within it.
I mean, the plot is these Germans hijacked this building because this Christmas party company floor, they're trying to break into a huge vault
for like $640 million worth of bonds, which at the time,
treasures,
John, that's
trinkets,
a shitload of money.
Yeah.
I mean, even today, that's a shitload of money, but like, that's a lot of money in the 80s.
That's a whole lot of cash. That's a lot of cocaine going up that nose.
Oh.
I mean, could you imagine?
I could actually.
But John McClane is having none of it, and he's in for justice. He's a good guy. And but Al is like talking to him over the radio, being the cheerleader. If it wasn't for Al, I feel like John McClane's Christmas spirit would have dwindled to the point that he would have just given up hope.
John, I thought the same. I was like, he's here. They're both having a conversation on this party line, which I loved, that they're just sitting here having a convo over these radios that even the killers can hear. I'm like, girl, work, because
they're like, they don't care who hears.
No, they don't. And they're just making
like, you want to listen, go ahead.
John, they were making a friendship over it. He said, you're from the streets, aren't you? And he said, you got flat feet. I don't get that part.
Me neither.
I don't understand the flat foot reference.
I don't know. Maybe they're just like trying to build camaraderie or something like that.
But I did enjoy it.
So they basically fall in love.
John, it was
John McClane and Al.
We now pronounce you John McClane and Al.
Yeah. Because so through a series of guns and explosions. John McClane does save the day, but not after a bunch of FBI agents die in a helicopter explosion.
John, they showed up and the FBI was done in 3 seconds. There was like how many agents there? 2.5?
Everybody who worked for, like, you could have gotten away with any crime on this Christmas Eve night in 1988. Because all of them were at this building in Century City.
John, there wasn't a single police officer plus the FBI. There was only 3 FBI agents because the other ones were all doing Christmas Eve.
Yeah, like they were
drinking eggnog. You had the douchebag who died in 3 seconds. He had like 4 words.
Yes. He
had 4 words. He didn't even get his SAG card. He didn't have enough words.
They're like, nope, we're not paying you.
They said, we're so sorry. You can't be union. You needed 1 more word.
Yeah. What do they call that? Being Taft-Hartley. Hollywood is so crazy.
I love it. But it is ridiculous.
They desperately want you to be in union work only, but they do not accept new people ever.
No, John, they are desperately seeking Susan, as you would say. Since you always say it, I've heard you say it.
I do. It's crazy. Madonna's wild.
Yeah. So that's how Hollywood works.
You know what I want to see? You know what Die Hard is, if we were to like draw some comparables? It is literally Rambo in an office building.
Holy yes, it is. I almost cussed, but I'm not gonna.
Right, because this is a Christmas show.
This is a Christian show.
It's a Christian. So John McClane obviously saves all of the hostages who are like all wasted and on coke. And
well, except for the one that actually was on coke, he got a bullet right through the forehead.
Yeah,
for lying.
And so
he's a big old liar.
Okay, so there's this point on the roof out this window or whatever where Hans Gruber is about to fly out the window to his death, but he grabs BB's wrist.
A Rolex, no mind you know,
and grabs her Rolex. He is dangling by, I was going to say Bridget Bardot, by Bonnie Bedelia's Rolex luxury watch, which I don't know if you were alive in the 80s, but Rolex was where it's at. We're like, Omega who?
John.
Tag Heuer who?
Rolex was the car phone for your wrist. If you had a car phone, you were rich. If you had a Rolex, you were rich.
But so he is dangling, trying to take Bonnie Bedelia down with him. And it's so close and it's about to happen. But that Rolex slips totally off. And the look on Professor Snape's face is iconic.
John, can I tell you, no joke, while he was falling down to his death, slow motion. But here's this. Okay. You have a gun right up in your hand, sir. You were going to kill someone else. You're falling to your death. Would you like your bones to crush
those bullets?
Or would you rather kill yourself on the way down? This is my question for you. Would you rather fall to your death knowing you're going to die, hit the ground, or kill yourself before you hit the ground and save the excruciating pain in case you miraculously survive?
Oh, no, that was too high of a fall.
John, it was too high of a fall, but guess what? In real life, a girl she was skydiving. Her parachute did not deploy. She landed and survived the fall from
I'm probably going to have to shoot myself in the head.
He had a full gun. He didn't kill himself, John. He let himself fall to the ground. I would have pulled the trigger.
Well, I mean, that's typical Hans Gruber.
Right. Like typical Hans.
Typical Hans. I mean, come on, Hans.
Come on.
Hans. No, he can't kill himself because he's too much of like a narcissistic, like terrorist guy.
Yeah.
So he's like holding out for like that faint glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
That he won't actually die whenever he hits the ground.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Which is why he's in the sequel.
What?
I'm just kidding.
I was like, did you see them receipts flying out of his pockets?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so so Hans Gruber falls to his death. Everybody is saved, and they are having a joyous Christmas time down among all the other people. Just being like, you know what, we're safe. We survived the thing. But
one of the henchmen, John,
the blonde, the white-haired German henchman,
Draco Malfoy's dad.
Carl.
Carl.
Yeah. His name's Carl. And he's played by Alexander Godunov.
Oh. Wait.
Yeah. And
I like how guttural that name is.
Godunov.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's what you would think he looks like.
He is, actually.
He pops up from the dead and he tries to shoot John McClane last minute and everybody's screaming. But then a gun goes off and he takes out Carl. And then we're like, oh, wait, John McClane just saved nope. It was Al.
We knew it was going to be Al at the end of the day.
It's kind of an epic superhero. I mean, like a hero shot whenever they cut to the smoking gun barrel and then they like rack focus out and reveal that it was him.
Also, what was the f-stop on that lens? Because the bokeh was amazing.
Oh, no, they pulled focus, Hunty.
John, it was so good. It was just on that gun. And then I'm saying that was like probably a 1.2 for those of you out there who care.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm glad you made that point. A very astute, undeniably true, because I checked it in the facts in my brain. And I know that it's very accurate what you're saying.
Thank you. So... They don't want you to know at that point who did it. But then guess what? Focus. Al did it, everyone. Al.
Yeah, because he becomes in focus.
He does.
Do you see where we're going with this?
Everyone, can we get in focus? Because we're struggling.
It's a reveal.
John, what tea are you drinking?
Who fired the gun? Oh. It's actually a pre-workout.
Oh, it is?
I'm gonna work out after this.
No, you're not. Okay.
Anyway, so that's Die Hard. And then it is Christmas, and he gets to spend Christmas with his family.
Yep, he does. And also, we forgot to mention Argyle. He got his moment too, which I was so happy about, the limo driver.
Oh yeah, he thwarts part of the terrorist plot by ramming the limousine into a truck. Oh, no, their getaway ambulance. Which, by the way, brilliant.
No one's going to stop an ambulance.
No one's going to.
But Argyle will. So I liked
it didn't
all
really
of
look
that.
Like a real ambulance.
No, it looked like a toy car. It looked fake.
It did. Yeah, it was like, oh, that's not suspicious.
Is that what ambulance vehicles used to look like?
I don't think so. That thing was really small.
It was very weird.
Like a clown car version of an ambulance.
I've been in a clown car, John, and they're not very big.
That was a VW bus spray painted with the word ambulance
John,
on it.
Honestly, it did look like a VW. Which is also a German vehicle, so it fits in.
Oh, Hans Gruber.
It fits in with the whole theme, everyone.
Yeah. Okay, so question for you,
sure,
Travis.
I love questions.
Whenever, yeah, me too. So every single time all of these German terrorists started speaking in German, did you have the thought like I did, where I'm like,
boner?
Were they just? Yes. Were you like, oh, they're just speaking gibberish in a German accent, like a stereotypical German accent? Do you think that's what they were doing?
I have no clue, but for real,
because it was the 80s in Hollywood.
Well, can I tell you right now that I always watch my movies with subtitles, and there were moments when it would say speaking German. That's all it would say. Yeah. There wouldn't be anything else. So I was like, well,
because they didn't put subtitles in the actual thing to translate. No. It was just people speaking in German, with guns.
Yeah, which is why I was like,
alternate title. People speaking German with guns.
Wait, do you know? Okay, and I know you know this. There are in other countries, they change the title of movies so that it appeals to people.
That was the German title.
That probably was the German title.
And which is what Hans Gruber translates to.
It translates to riding in cars with boys. So
yeah. Yes. I would say that's basically the movie.
That is the movie. So
did you want to talk about other iconic scenes that you liked?
Okay, there were actually, surprisingly enough, I will say this movie holds up.
It does.
I fully did not go into this movie. I did not go into this movie thinking I would like this movie. B,
no.
This movie's from 1988. You can trust that most movies from the 80s might not hold up, but they're going to be fun to watch.
Also, the hair in this movie.
The hair was so big.
I was like, oh, I mean, the German henchmen, like they had long flowing locks, conditioned. It was great.
John, I couldn't believe it wasn't butter.
Yeah, it was blown out.
It was so soft. It was
even Hans Gruber had like the shorter haircuts, but it was still like very much like parted and feathered.
Yes, it looked good.
Yeah, little salt and pepperiness in there.
Alan Rickman, I mean, come on, sit on his face.
More like Alan Dickman,
right?
But this is a family show.
It isn't.
And also, gray sweatsuit guy,
John. Who doesn't love a gray sweatsuit? They said
gorgeous. He was the first one to die.
VPN, everyone.
Oh, for sure.
VPL.
Yeah, so he's like one of the computer hacker genius guys, but also dangerous. Super tall, super fit.
They killed the hottest one first, which why?
He had that mushroom bowl cut. The mushroom.
Yes, of course, I remember that one.
Which was cool. I mean, that was doing it for me with those big giant glasses.
John, they kept Neanderthal Carl alive longer than the hot one.
It was crazy.
Whatever.
I mean, it was the 80s.
It was the 80s, the gayties, if you will.
Whoa. Watch out. Oh my goodness. We have
Sorry,
rhymes.
my throat was so dry.
Anyway, I liked it. I thought it was really good. Oh, the director, by the way, John McTiernan.
Wait, how much did this movie cost to make? By the way, we didn't get into
$1,000.
Oh, It was like IOUs or what?
Yeah, it was done completely on miniatures, which are actually very expensive. So.
Yes, I know, because they have to literally make a miniature version of a real scale version, which is weird.
I know, which they did. They used a miniature in the
when the helicopter scene?
Explosion?
I thought so.
Yeah, it looks like a miniature, but you know,
but they also did a
it was
good job.
80s.
It didn't actually, to me, it didn't really look like a miniature, but I was like,
it has to be
because they're not going to blow up a full building.
Yeah, but this movie cost $28 million.
Wow, that seems like not a lot, but in the 80s, that's a shitload of money.
I think with inflation, it's kind of a lot. But I mean, it's sort of a contained movie if you think about it.
I mean, it did take place in literally like one soundstage and then an exterior.
Yeah, like it's not. Yeah, so but it does have like big explosions, real helicopters.
The pyrotechnics are expensive too.
Yeah, and like
also that hair real costs a lot.
The hair and makeup budget alone, honey. The shoulder pad department was expensive.
Listen,
I'm listening.
I know it was.
I am listening, and I hear it, and I appreciate it.
Did you hear the hair crunching? From all that Aquanet.
Yeah. The crunch. Could you?
The crunch of it all.
Bedelia.
Let's talk about the product placement. Why was there crunch bars in this movie?
A crunch bar? Okay, because that's the time in movie theaters where you're like watching the movie theater movie,
and it looked like
you're like, oh, I want a crunch bar, and it was a big one too.
John, why was he at a concession stand?
He was just hungry.
No, he literally was at a concession stand. The guy with the AK-47 was at a concession. Where did that come from? A. B, he picked a crunch bar, which I was like, girl, there are way better treats sitting in front of you.
But also, Coca-Cola makes a very big statement here.
Yes, right before what's-his-face has his brains blown out.
Yes.
Eli, his name was Eli, right?
Probably.
That's a pretty douchey name. So let's just
coked
go.
Out baby doll with shoulder pads.
Yeah.
And also
coked out baby doll with shoulder pads coming this year. Welcome to the stage, or what?
He had like that very 80s facial hair look.
John,
you know what I mean?
He looked
like full beard and mustache.
Can we talk about how he looked just like the one that was in the Kardashians? What's his name?
Ooh.
The one that was married to Kourtney? His name escapes me.
I don't know.
The one, you know who I'm talking about.
I haven't watched. I don't watch that show.
Write us an email and tell us who I'm talking about, because I can't remember.
Drop it in the comments below.
Yes.
Leave a review and tell us what that is.
Yeah.
But no, I like this movie, and I feel like, when I was watching it, I was like, you know what? They don't make them like this anymore.
John, please. I thought the same thing.
Because they made them like that for a very long time.
They did. Look at True Lies.
It's such a like a made fun of thing with like explosions.
No,
explosions.
They give you everything you want.
Guns.
But here's the thing, though. Despite it having full explosions, this movie was actually written pretty decently, despite all of the things that don't happen. Listen, it's an action movie, okay? Hear me out, everyone. An action movie is going to follow the exact same guidelines as it does in every other movie. That's why people go to them, just with different names, different setting. But I will say, as far as this movie goes, sure, it's probably one of the better written, which I think people probably followed a format from Die Hard, because it is easy to watch.
That is very, very true.
So entertaining. From point A to point Z, I wasn't bored once.
Yeah, I know, right? And like
one time.
There were points where I was just like, wait, what's going on? And I was like, I don't care.
It doesn't matter, because something else is going to happen.
Yeah, and there's like technology in this movie that never existed and will never exist, and is completely specific to this movie, about how the safe works. And you know what? The guy drilling it is just like, he's going to tell me exactly what's going on in a very small amount of words, and I'm going to just go with it. He's just like, he was like, oh man, the 13th valve is just shut down on us, and the whole thing went down over it. I'm like, okay, cool, setback, awesome.
Yeah, I believed
clear,
it.
Loud and clear.
I don't know.
Roger that. 10-4.
Right, John. I don't know how a safe works. So guess what?
Me neither.
The whole time I was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Cool. You are my shepherd.
You are my
Lord and
shepherd.
Savior.
Thank you for bringing it back.
You are an adult baby Jesus who knows more than me.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing it back to God.
Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah. They are the 3 wise men in a manger with an adult baby Jesus.
I love that.
Yeah.
Also,
could you imagine an adult baby Jesus?
An adult baby Jesus? I think that's a kink probably for someone, to be honest. So anyway, if you guys are looking for a Christmas movie, I'm going to go ahead and out of 10, wait. Out of 10?
There's so much to choose from.
What do we do? Out of 10, perfectly.
Out of 10. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Out of 10 long flowing 80s hairstyles.
Not even long. Permed,
coiffed.
Any of it.
Feathered.
That's a good one.
Even an under curl in your mushroom cut.
John, it was so,
I love that 80s mushroom cut. I was like, where have you been my entire life?
Yep. So out of 10 giant hairdos, I'm not joking. I'm actually going to give this movie a 10.
Oh, nice.
I'm actually going to give this movie a 10. And
perfect score.
And here's why. Because I never thought in a million years I would watch this movie. Second,
you managed to go 36 years without it.
Second, I didn't think I would enjoy this movie.
Me neither. I was just like, whatever. And then I'm like, I'm like into this.
John, I
was into everything. Like whenever they cut away to Al, like in the 7-Eleven, I was like, I want to be in the 7-Eleven.
Me too. Dare I say it? I think I might love Die Hard.
Well, join like the millions of people who love this movie. And if you're a youngster and you mustn't have heard of this movie. You've
absolutely heard of
legend. But you haven't seen it. Treat yourself this holiday season to an unexpected Christmas movie. And you can laugh at the 80s of it all at the same time. The 80s-ness is part of the entertainment.
The charm,
too.
Dude. The charm.
They don't shy away from the 80s of it.
No. And the Christmas jokes, too, that they make. He is like, we need a miracle. And then Professor Snape's like, well, this is the season for miracles. And they get one.
That's right. He does say that.
Get a miracle, John. It's so cheesy, but like
you get the cringe-worthy one-liners that other lesser action movies try and fail at, but this manages tonally to work.
John, I truly feel like action movies after this came out were like, we have to follow what they did.
Yeah, exactly. Because also Bruce Willis's acting ability is not the best in the entire world.
He's an action person. Good for him.
He's an action person. He does try to do acting in this movie, and this was the perfect vehicle for him because it's not he's just a weird actor. Like he acts weird.
John.
And
it was
works.
Believable.
Right, because he's like
the
goofy.
Whole time.
Yeah. But who's really delivering the acting that people wanted to see in a movie for this is Alan Rickman. He is drama. Full drama, melodrama. He is serving the face. He's serving
style. He has a suit.
He understands the assignment of this movie.
I actually love this movie.
He wasn't afraid to go over the top with his villain. And that's why he is an iconic Hans Gruber.
Every person in this movie knew what this movie was.
Yeah. It is a not serious action movie, but it still attempts to pull at your heartstrings, but not for too long.
It pulls at them, but in the weirdest way. Like you're glad that John McClane and BB are back together, but also the love story between him and Al is the best thing.
Yeah. It's like they basically formed a throuple after that moment.
No joke. Their friendship between this is amazing, dude.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
10.
I hope they still correspond.
10.
So 10 for you. I would say out of 10, very sharp shoulder pads. I would have to give this. It's an 8 for me.
Is it? Okay.
But that's still really good.
That is actually,
like,
no, it's really good. I'm giving it a 10 only because like, I can't believe it.
I would have to say it's my Christmas movies. This is probably my favorite, unless I'm missing one out there somewhere.
You know what though? Oh, that is hard to compare because I think one of the best Christmas movies, and you all can just F right off if you don't agree. It's totally fine. This is my opinion. I love The Family Stone.
Huh.
I love The Family Stone as far as a Christmas.
That was an interesting way to wrap up this podcast.
Yeah, but we're talking about Die Hard. So if we're comparing the two, they're not the same thing.
The Family Stone?
Yeah, The Family Stone.
Oh.
You didn't like that movie? You didn't like it. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. It's totally cool. It's fine.
I'm just kidding with you. I'm kidding.
It's okay. It's Sarah Jessica Parker's best work.
SJP.
No, I'm so sorry to derail us. We do jump the tracks here, everyone.
Yeah, but I liked it. I think you do yourself a favor this holiday season. Rent or buy Die Hard.
Don't buy it.
It's not really streaming anywhere, but rent it.
It's streaming on your Stars. Library. If you have Stars, which literally no one does. Who has Stars, dude?
Jeez. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, if you're like subscribed to like Stars Plus or whatever, and you're rich like that, you can stream it on Stars right now. Otherwise, you can rent it anywhere and everywhere. I did mine on Vudu. I love that platform.
I did mine on Amazon because I forgot that John and I don't share a Vudu.
Mm-hmm.
Vudu. Not us.
Something with the Babe.
I forgot about that. So, whoops.
Yeah. The Babe with the power of voodoo. Yeah. Hoodoo.
So basically, watch this movie, everyone.
Yes, watch it right now. And you know what, Travis?
What?
I'm going to have to see you at the movies.
Roll the credits. You big old aquanetted, perfect hair and sharp hair padded 10 of a movie. But did that work? Was that fine?
Bonnie Bedelia.